So our notes here on exponent rules are not part of the packet. It's usually a handout that I give that just kind of quickly reviews something that you already know. So I'm going to just go through this with us together. So when we add and subtract polynomials, we just already did that. And we know that that's just basically combining like terms. So if I have 9x squared y minus 10x squared y, it's negative 1x squared y. Or I could just even say negative x squared y. If I want to subtract 6w from 8w, we know that that would just be 2w. So that's just our adding and subtracting. Then we get into our actual exponent rules. The first one is the product rule. So if I have x to the a times x to the b, we know that this is x to the a plus b. Or in other words, we say keep the base, add the powers. Keep the base, add the powers. So if I have h squared times h to the 6th, it's h to the 2 plus 6, or h to the 8th. If I've got a coefficient in front, that coefficient gets multiplied. So this would be negative 14 a to the 5th b squared. Of course, we have more complicated things than that, but that's basically the rule. If I have a power to a power, x to the a times x to the b, this is going to be x to the a times b. Or I say keep the base, multiply the powers. So if I have x squared raised to the 3rd power, this becomes x to the 6th. Keep the base, multiply the powers. Here I've got kind of two questions in one. That first question, if I square negative 2, is 4 m to the 10th, then times m to the 3rd, so the final answer would be 4m to the 13th. Quotient rule, x to the a divided by x to the b. I think you know this. The rule is keep the base, subtract the powers. Keep the base, subtract the powers. If it's got coefficients, I'm just going to reduce them. So 3, I think, goes into 27 9 times, where 3 goes into 42. Isn't it 14 times, I believe? Yeah. And then x to the 5th over x to the 1st, 5 minus 1 is 4. I can write my answer like that, or I can write 9/14 x to the 4th. This is a combo problem. Y squared squared is y to the 4th over y to the 4th. This is going to become y to the 0 power, or 1. So I'm going to jump down to the 0 exponent rule. Anything to the 0 power is 1. And that doesn't always mean that the answer is 1. So here 7x to the 0 is 7 times 1, or actually 7. Here again w to the 8th over w to the 8th is w to the 8 minus 8, or w to the 0, which is 1. And the reason why it's 1, if you think of this, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 w's over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 w's, right? Everything would cancel out. And in a fraction where everything cancels out, that's just 1. The big one that people are going to struggle with is their negative exponent rules. Negative exponents belong in the denominator. Just the exponent becomes positive. So if I have a negative 5, x to the negative 2, this is going to become negative 5 over x squared. Here the 4 and the 8 might reduce to 1/2. X k to the squared over k to the 5th is k cubed in the denominator. And one way to think of it is we have 2 k's in the top, 5 k's in the bottom, 2 k's cancel, we're left with 3 k's in the bottom. So just a brief introduction to the rules of exponents that you already know.